and the workload on you might be very
Yeah.
hectic. So how do you
Right.
manage to, balance your professional and your personal life?
Bro, I have some very simple mantra for a few. Some very, if you get the basic
Yeah.
things right, everything else kind of falls
Hmm.
into place. The first thing is to get
Yeah.
up early. That's what I advocate to
Okay.
everyone. You want to
Yeah.
get a head start in life and you have multiple things that you want to do.
Hmm.
And the first
Hmm.
thing you've got to do is get up early, get a head start.
Right.
Our
Right.
industry wakes up by around 10, possibly 9, 10,
Hmm.
and they get started by 11.
Yeah.
I start my day at 5:30 in the morning. So it helps me kind of get all the things that I want to do. So I get my riyaz done in the morning, I get my workout done, and I get my writing work done. So
Okay.
I've just finished my second book yesterday, and I'm going to
Great.
possibly in the next 1 month finish my third book either also.
Oh,
So to pack all of
fantastic.
that in, I just
Hmm.
need to make sure that I have something called efficient management of time. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't believe that you have to be restricted in the way you approach life. That if someone tells you you
Hmm.
can be a singer, you can't be an actor. If you're an actor, you can't be a producer. If you're a producer, you can't
Right.
be a writer. You can do all of that.
Right.
You just have to put in
Yeah.
more man hours. That's it.
Got it. Yeah.
You got
Thanks so
to
much.
work harder than the others.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
sure.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. You're welcome. It'd be nice if
Hi,
you just
Karan.
whoever
Hi,
asks me a
am I
question,
audible?
just you are, but just state your name because I can only see four people at one point in time. So
All
just
right,
state your
okay.
name so I can address you.
Okay, Karan. Hi, this is Sandeep, and I handle Hindustan Times Online Entertainment.
Wonderful, Sandeep.
I am with Vipul for a long time. I mean, we are good friends,
Yeah,
and I know for a
right.
fact that he used to do your PR.
Uh,
But I never quite got the chance of getting in touch with you, perhaps interacting with you.
right,
Uh,
right.
but I have always admired you. I mean, I simply have loved you. I mean, I've even informed people to kind of tell you that,
Yeah, oh, that's
I
you. Oh, yes, yes, yes. He did mention.
yeah.
You sent a you're very gracious, brother. Thank you so much. It really made
Thank
my
you so
day.
much. But you deserve it. So,
Thank you.
one concern that I have,
Yeah.
Karan, is, you have seen the highs and you've seen the lows in the industry.
Yes.
And
Yes.
today, you literally, there is barely any ebb and flow as far as your
Right.
career is concerned. But then again, I heard that
Right.
you're going to spring back pretty soon with your book and all of
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
as you know, I've done the
Yeah.
article as well.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
what I was, concerned about is when you see the media, uh, you know, um, making up mountains out of molehills without actually
Right.
getting into the crux of the matter. And
Right.
one person does it, and 10 other publications just pick it up haywire without
Yes. Right.
any verification, nothing
So
for that matter.
yes.
How do you?
Right. Right.
Does it pique you? And if it does, what are the steps that you perhaps could take, or perhaps even think, or uh, dilly dally in your mind that you could perhaps do this in order to perhaps get
Yeah.
rid of it?
I think the first thing I'd have to answer that from a very spiritual perspective is their individual journey that all of us have. They say you can't change the world,
Mm,
but you can definitely change yourself. So the first thing you've got to do is you've got to take matters that come to you head on like that. For sometimes for no
mm,
fault of yours. First, you've got to just kind of separate it and say it's not personal. You don't
mm.
have to have an emotional reaction to everything that's gone wrong in your life because that's the first step you'd have to take. Otherwise, you lose your mind.
Okay.
One of the things that you very aptly pointed out is that media has changed over a period of time. A lot of
Yes.
journalists or aspiring journalists are not doing their groundwork, the hard work that comes with being a journalist. It's a very, very responsible position. And if you look at
Yeah.
what the countries have gone to war because of irresponsible warmongering, or
Journalism.
I mean, look at the
Exactly.
history history of Germany, Nazi Germany, and you understand if Joseph Goebbels was
Hmm.
not there as a propaganda minister, the world wouldn't have gone to
Yeah. Yeah.
war. So there was a responsibility, a social
Yeah.
responsibility
Right.
that a journalist has.
Hmm.
So you have the power of the pen to be able to change the world order, but you also have, with great power comes great responsibility, and I don't see that happening too much. So what happens is everyone in this cut
Mm.
paste job, like not everyone,
Yes.
but a lot of the aspiring journalists are learning the trade the
Yeah.
wrong way. They don't want to
Hmm.
get into the details of things. They want an easy cut paste job. You send them an article. There was a time when I had an article printed, the journalist would call me and ask me questions and ask me tough, hard questions that they wanted answered. Today, I can
Hmm.
just write it and send it to them. They'll print it even with the errors that I make in my language,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's such a
Unfortunately,
sad
that is the
reflection of
truth.
the times that we live in. Yeah.
Yeah.
You take the good with the bad. The fact of the matter is that you can't change that aspect of their life. You can only urge people, and at forums like this, where you tell them, you want to do something and you want a job well done, then you possibly want to kind of get into the details of first answer the question: why are you a journalist? Why do you venture into this profession? There must have been some reasons. You answer this question the right way, and then understand, follow up. There are still some people who are able to manage to do great bit of journalism. Follow their examples. I mean, you take a story, understand why you want to tell that story, get to the bottom of the truth before you want to get out and share it with the world. Because you have one article, one pen, one stroke of your pen can actually is capable of destroying lives, and as you've seen in the past, worlds. So my take is very simple. I read it with a pinch of salt, whatever I see, and I don't form an opinion based on a piece of paper. I want to figure out, get the right amount of information. It has to be substantiated by proof, ample proof, and then I kind of veer to an opinion. That's what my take is.
Absolutely. Karan, at the same time, I personally feel that it's got to do a lot with the system. I mean, everything is just so fast-paced these days, and everybody just wants to make quick money. There are these ads, marketing, gimmicks, and all of that. So the moment a particular publication sees, even the editors, for that matter, I'm in an editorial position, so I know it pretty well.
Right.
I mean, at one point in time, I used to work with Times as a sub-editor, so I know it for a fact that they just happen to scroll through various pages. And I mean, they see something sensational on a particular website. They simply pick it up without verifying. And then, I mean, whatever happens, the other person who's at the end of it, at the end of the entire story, has got to bear the brunt of it. So who do you think is to be blamed for that matter in this entire game?
You can't blame anyone. The system, Sandeep, is unfortunately galvanized for example, today you have social media. That means within microseconds, your opinion will reach the world. And then it will have a percolating effect. In the sense, it will kind of get, and if it's sensational, people will kind of write about it, tweet about it. We often blame social media, but we have to understand that as a civilization, we are also plateauing. You have to understand that these opinions that people are able to read today on the kind of extreme vitriol which exists on Twitter has always been there. Their opinions have always been there. It's just that you found a vehicle to be able to find an outlet to be able to spew that poison out. So and today it's a day and age where saying just like maybe actor, maybe singer, maybe journalist. That's just how it is. So you think you want to be a singer, you just use a vocoder, don't do classical training, don't do riyaz, don't do anything. You can fix it similarly with acting, the paraphernalia in TV, paraphernalia will take care of it. The cameras will keep moving. You just have to look dumb and just pretend as if something is happening. So if you look at, there's an overall corruption that's happening in society over a period of time, and that's something that we have to be cognizant of. The only thing that people like you who are opinion makers, who have I can only urge you guys that you guys are the ones who are at the forefront of opinions being galvanized. You can take the initiative to be better human beings, to be better reporters. Make sure that you substantiate a story before you print it. That's all that you can do. You can only urge and have, the balance of life is by people, one who are corrupted and the others who are incorruptible. And the incorruptible have to make their voices heard. That's one is hopeful for.
Absolutely. Also, Karan, I'm perhaps the only person who's going to be asking questions today. I don't know, for some strange reason.
It's fine.
I mean, you were the face of one of the biggest boy bands in India.
Yes.
Today, I mean, I keep on hearing from people that you guys met up during, a virtual chat or whatever.
Right.
But today, what difference do you find in the scenario as far as music is concerned, the pop scenario for that matter?
So actually,
especially with the rap coming in with Honey Singh and I don't know what all. So you've got to shed some light on that.
I will. First, let me answer the checkered question part of it. That like I say, man proposes, God disposes. So the idea is that one is not given up on anything. One has been trying. But I walked out of television for a reason. And the reason was that I couldn't be part of the animal kingdom that was being portrayed there. So I didn't want to be a fly or a mosquito or the lion or a crocodile. It didn't fit. If I had to, as a creative person, I'm a passionate human being. If I have to do something, it has to come from within. I took up music when I was at the peak of my career on television and quit television purely because it spoke to me. This is what I wanted to do. So it came to me naturally. I joined Jussie because, it seemed like a good show. And then I saw the bad side of it. And then it went completely south. And then the daily soaps took over. I was very aware of the decision I took at that point of time. Because, the fulcrum of my existence has never been about how many mansions I can create. But what is it that I do that leaves an indelible imprint in when I leave the, it's about not about money creation as much as it's about legacy creation. So when you say a boy band and you say like by a boy band that had 3 platinum albums, I want to be a part of that. Well, he did little work, but whatever work he did was good, is something that I wanted to be identified with. Which is why when the web is openly about one actor for 110 minutes.
Yes.
So I wanted to be part of that legacy. So that's how my motivation always has been. Even the album.
And as far as India is concerned, I might think that there's just one film besides the one that's Sunil Dutt. It's called Yade, if I'm not wrong.
Yade, but in that also you have Nargichi comes towards
yes,
the end.
That's in the very last scene. I've seen the film.
Correct. Yeah. So what happens is that doesn't really qualify it from completely true to the genre. There's only 5 films. Otherwise, there are 14, 15 films, but they have other people. Spattering of other people that walk in and out. But Strawberry is the only film which has absolutely nobody else. There are 15 characters, but you don't see anybody. You only see one actor. So for us, for me, this was a big challenge. And also, like I said, this is what drove me. That if I want to do a film, then I want to be recognized for the film that I did. And if I want to do music, then it has to be, even the album that I have planned, it's called Choti Si Baat. It's again, not in tune or in line with, there's place for everyone. There's place for rap music. There's also place for other people who are melodic or who have, whose lyrics speak a certain language. So my album is about 6 conversations between men and women. That's it. And every song is a conversation and a story. And I've stuck to my guns of not wanting to change the music. And I've had not much luck with music companies wanting to back it because they want raps thrown in it. It's like country music. Country music is a very lyrical sort of a for world. So can you just hold on for a second?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
So Karan, that's perfectly fine. So Karan, from the point you just made about the fact that music companies actually want to earn some amount of rap inside the music, do you actually feel that there is a lot of herd mentality as far as, if a particular kind of music or if a particular kind of film is doing well with the mass? I mean, 10 other production companies even think of doing the same thing and walk the same beaten trodden path for that matter.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, I think it's got to do with our genetic footprint. We are very afflicted by dogmas, not just in the music industry, across.
Well, some of them. I'm not in favor of dogmas at all. I completely, I detest.
Yeah.
That.
So, but you speak that language, Sandeep. To be honest with you, I haven't had so much fun interacting with the journalist in a very, very long time who's asked me the right questions.
Thank you.
So that tells you there are people like you who kind of maintain the, the counterbalance of life, which is very, very important. So, but unfortunately, people like you are a minority, or people like me who think that these are dogmas are a minority. So what happens in the music business is what happens in the TV business, what happens in the film business. It's the same kind of writing that's encouraged. So if you have a rap song working with a Honey Singh, you have a rap song that's being encouraged by Badshahs of the world, then everybody else is just getting the rap music bit. And nobody wants to swim against the tide because everyone's looking for formulas. Everyone's looking for surefire formulas. And we have an abysmal rate for success in a country which is so afflicted by dogmas. If you knew it all, if everyone knew it all, then why have an individual expression? For example, the new book that I've written, and he says, this is not how books are written in India. It's a oral format. And I said, I don't give a shit. If the book speaks to you, and if it's fluent, it's fluid, and if it's a language that you understand, if you're able to associate with the characters and the plot line, just give me an opinion about that. Don't tell me what works or what doesn't work or what has been done before. So think of me as a disruptor, so be it. And disruptors usually will find that they're going very, very hard, Sandeep. And that's something I can tell you from experience. It's not easy. But hey, you do what you do. You live and die by that.
And also, Karan, as I keep on, perhaps going back to the same time when you were young and you looked even 10 times better than you look today. You've got to tell me what kind of an effect does age have on a performer? What kind of an effect? It could just be something that would perhaps enrich you, in your experience, and at the same time, bog you down a little bit, seeing a lot of new young faces around you.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, if you're secure as an individual, then you don't give too much, and you're happy for others. It all depends on what your resonating frequency is. I see a
That's a
good-looking
very, very
person, but there's
positive
some,
approach. I wouldn't
yeah,
be so
yeah,
positive though.
yeah.
I
No,
mean, had I been in your place.
no, I don't think of it like that, bro. And to be honest with you, like I said, I do see the world with rose-tinted glasses. My book, the one that is going to come out, it's a very brutal book about what's wrong with the system. It
Yeah.
tells you, but to be honest with you, I will still not call it a negative book because it tells you about the counterbalance of life that I just spoke about. So things happen,
Okay.
things go wrong, things can go horribly wrong, and you can suffer for it. But you don't wish that suffering on the world. You just wish that
Hmm.
there are some people who maintain that, who are like the atlas of the world, who say no, well, we're going to keep it up in the this one. So I don't feel threatened by anyone. I've never felt threatened by a man, girl, woman, whoever. Good looking people, not good looking people, talented. I admire people who are talented.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm very comfortable in my skin. So it's never been a problem for me that way.
Also, the book
Sahaj,
that is in question right now, the fact that you're actually writing this book.
Yeah.
Vipul, hi. तेरा चेहरा दिख रहा है मुझको. Hi, Vipul.
संदीप, बाकी लोगों के पास भी है और हमारे पास आई
अच्छा
थिंक
सवाल है.
25
अच्छा
मिनट
हाँ
ही
ठीक है
है.
ठीक है. Okay,
अच्छा,
fine,
सबके
fine.
पास है.
Wait.
Okay, team, please, please.
Yes. Go ahead. Just state your name before you speak. That's it. Because I can only see Sandeep on my window.
Good for me.
Hi, Karan. Hi, Tanvi this
Hi.
side.
Hi, Tanvi.
We just saw the small trailer of your movie, that is upcoming
Right.
movie. And
Right.
I want to
Right.
ask you that Indian audiences, do you think they are not ready for a solo artist movie? Because we are already habitual of seeing a star load of cast. And there are
Right.
only few movies that have been created before, including Steven Spielberg's works. So,
Yeah.
do you think that going out of a league, a little experimental, is a little bit of risky business right now?
To be honest with you, I don't think so. You know what? I think the pursuit of happiness, he said, you've got a dream, you've got to protect it. I don't write a story or I don't act in something based on the fact that it would work or not work. And just the way I think, I'm not a minority. There are enough and more people that possibly think like maybe Sandeep does the same thing like me. So maybe we're in a minority, but there are enough and more people or enough and more takers for something that you call an experiment. And unless we expose the country to narratives like that, we'll never change as a country. Then you will,
Yes,
and at some point in time, you will keep complaining about saying every TV serial looks the same, every actor does the same kind of acting, every story is the same. It's why? Because we're conditioning you time and again by not wanting to give you anything else, saying this works. And it doesn't really work. I mean, look at it. If 100 films release a year, only 3 of them work.
Right.
And that's sad.
Right.
I remember when we did Jussie, so Jussie was a story of a girl who's not very pretty, and it was a take on ugly Betty or Betty LaFayette. Every series post that was either about the woman who was fat or somebody who was dark complexion or somebody who was short. I mean, come on. So we just kind of took off on that and started, serving that as a people, and that's not okay, So yeah, it's just so I mean somebody has to take that initiative and change the way things are seen.
And we are glad that you took that initiative.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hi,
अच्छा, और
Karan.
किसी के पास कोई सवाल है? Because I have lots of questions. Huh?
Yeah.
I have
Hi, Karan.
Hi.
Hi, Karan. Sahaj on this side. My
Right.
question to you is, what was your ideology behind the Band Boys? And do you think the authenticity which the Band Boys had is still
The
there
band
in
of
the current?
boys. Band of boys.
Band
The
boys.
band boys नहीं है.
I'm sorry. The Band of Boys.
Yes.
Yeah. So my question is that do you still think that the authenticity which the Band of Boys had is still there in the current new generation, like the upcoming people who are generating several bands? So do you feel there is still that kind of flavor and all in the same?
No, actually, what Sahaj, I want to be sitting on a high horse and saying with the original creators or with the originals. I don't want to take that space. There have been boy bands before us. In India, it was the first sort of phenomena.
Yes.
As far as the original music is concerned, well, you may not hear it in the mainstream space anymore because the channels are not promoting that sort of music, or neither the music companies. But there is enough. This is a country which is full of talent, and there's an incredible amount of original music. It's just that the going is tough. But there are enough and more musicians who are doing a fabulous job in the independent circuit. They're sticking to their original core of or as artists, and they're doing a fab job. So I don't see it's still definitely there. Your individual expression, and if you're honest to it, is your own, and that's what gives you makes you the person that you are. So there are enough and more artists that are doing that.
Okay. And just a next question from my side would be that you are an actor,
Yeah.
you are a model, you are a singer. So was this a decided career, or it was just an accidental thing, like you developed interest later on, or was this
Well,
a decided thing?
no, it wasn't decided. My dad's in the army. I have come from a generation of a legacy. My dad's in the army. He has 4 brothers, all of them in the army, navy, air force, granddad. So I come from a legacy of soldiers. So this is not a pre-decided career for me, but I was inclined towards music since I was a child, and my parents have been very supportive in that sense. That so modeling didn't happen because I chose it. I came to Bombay to be a singer. I didn't get selected anywhere. I struggled a lot to be able to. So every time I went to music company, they'll say, why don't you just be a model? Why don't you just act in the music videos? I'm not so sure we'll give you a chance to sing. So I started as a ramp model, and there was a part of Gravira Mr. India long back. There's to be this contest. I don't know if it still happens or not. It was like Miss India, but it was Mr. India. So
Yeah.
so as a part of that, I got selected there, and then it happened in modeling. And then I became a model, and then because I was a model, acting happened. But I was pursuing and still struggling to get my music while I was trying to do that. So that's been an interesting journey. But modeling and acting was definitely not one of those things that I planned. Singing, yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Also, Karan,
Yeah.
I mean, one second, Lokesh, एक minute, huh?
Yeah.
Karan, I had a word with Shan the other day, and he told me
Right.
during those days, it used to be really difficult because
Yeah.
then you actually had to invest yourself in the music video that you were doing, and you had to shell out the money for creating the music video and paying the channels or whatever. I don't quite remember the exact context of that conversation, but then that was the sum of it. So I mean, today, obviously, things are pretty different because, you have these producers going up to these rap lyricists, and they kind of incorporate them in the music videos, and they think, in their films or whatever, and they think the songs are going to be a hit. So now things are almost 360 degrees different. How do you correlate that era and this one, and whether it's for the good or for the bad? I mean, obviously for the good. I mean, it is for the good as far as these rap musicians are concerned. But besides them, when you kind of used to perhaps look back in retrospect and think about the time you were a part of, how do you?
Well, I beg to differ from this opinion because Band of Boys was not we didn't put a single penny on our videos. We didn't.
Okay.
Everything was produced by the music company. Our audio was produced by them. Our videos were produced by them. We were signed on artists. So I'll tell you the difference between that era and why there's an incredible amount of originality that is created there. It was a better era in that way. We call it the golden era, or the 90s, or whatever, the 2000s was the golden era of pop for a reason. One is the A&Rs are very, very strong. They were original and not trying. So when you had a Lucky Ali, he was holistically a Lucky Ali in the way he sang, the way he dressed up. His music spoke the same language that the person was. Silk Route did the same thing. Euphoria did the same thing. Shan did the same thing. Sonu did the same thing. Band of Boys, Shilpa Shetty, Mika, Daler, everyone had an individual voice which was completely their own. And the music companies invested into those artists and encouraged that sort of a space. They were on the lookout. They had talent scouts that looked down on for people, and then they would kind of get them together. It was not easy because the music companies were far few, and they didn't have that much of investment that they could target so many artists. But whoever they picked up, they had to be pick of the lot. So that was different then. Today, the scenario has changed. Today, it's, you can take an iPhone and get some basic lights home and you can still shoot a music video. It's not the same. You used to shoot on film at that point in time. That can used to charge 15,000 rupees, and it used to be exorbitantly expensive to do a telecine, and the technology was not supporting it. So a huge amount of money went into production. Today, it's a kid with a candy can do this. He can shoot a music video with high speed, iPhone, the slow motion shots and edit everything. So technology has made life easy. As far as music producers are concerned, the quick fix that existed then has existed even today. Only thing is the music companies that, or the people who have executives that have joined, do not have the appetite to be able to take that risk and say, let's create personalities.
Okay.
They're not creating personalities. They're just creating music. And that's where the way the game is changing today. So you have music producers who are putting money and saying, look, well, there's money to be made, there's stardom and all of that. So let's pick up what is a surefire space. So there's no A&R space per se, which is what has changed dramatically.
Achha. Okay.
You know.
All right. Lokesh, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah. So Karan and Lokesh, and Deep, you talked about that all TV serials are similar.
Yes.
Or on the same page. Then when we say that all TV serials are same, then do you think that more than 70% of the audience want the same thing, you know?
Is that your question? 70% audience want the same thing?
So I am saying that I have a friend in like he's a script writer in Star Plus, and he's not allowed to do something unique, you know.
Yes. Tell me more about it.
So why it's happening? I want to know that.
Bro, one is I think
one moment. हमारा call शायद 5 मिनट disconnect होगा because we have a 30-minute time limit. So if ये disconnect होता है, मैं immediately सबको WhatsApp पे नया link अभी से share कर रहा हूँ, उसको तुरंत join कर सकते हैं हम लोग, अगर communication अपना complete नहीं होता तब तक.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll quickly try and answer that question for you. It's also because we are very scared as people. Everyone's looking for the surefire. So even the executive sitting in the network doesn't want to. He's only attached to his chair. He's worried about his job. He's got job insecurity. He worries that if he's going to make any change and if that doesn't work, he's going to lose his job. And if you don't give that security to people, why is the Indian cricket team performing so well? Why did Saurav Ganguly make the change? Why did Dhoni? Because he gave them the assurance to people saying, look, if you have a bad form, if you're not able to perform for a bit, I will give you the allowance and you'll stay in the team. That's not how most executives in the companies are given the training. They're chasing numbers, they're chasing bottom lines, they're doing P&Ls. Yeah. And when, I've heard even from the publishing industry now, I found this is a fun fact I must share with you. Even the publishing companies today have started going to their sales heads and their marketing heads to decide content. They say, no, don't read the book. Just go to the sales guy, figure out if we can sell this. So if you're going to be a bunch of salesmen, then we are only going to look at aspect that's a quick fire McDonald's, not a 9-course meal, which is what an Indian healthy recipe is. And if that doesn't change, and those changes you guys can bring in. You're young, you're at the forefront of things. You absorb this, read a lot, study a lot, do something with great amount of honesty. Don't be in a rush. You'll possibly make the changes. It starts from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else who has a question, guys?
Hi, Karan.
Hi. Hi, Mark. Hi.
Yeah, so as you mentioned that you came to Bombay to be a singer, right?
Right.
So what influenced your decision to come to Bombay? As in, when most of us think of going to a new city to pursue our dreams, we always, get a fear, okay, hoga ke nahi, right? So
yes.
what influenced your decision? Was it
it has to be confidence is not just the answer. I think it's passion and commitment to what is the fire that rages in your belly. Like, for example, if you were to ask me today, like if I'm writing my book or I'm writing a song or I'm writing or acting somewhere, so somebody just called me recently for a series and they said, we want like you to, and this, just to give you some sort of an example of how I'm as a person, so which is what how the world, my world has been shaped around it. They called me and said, we would like you to be part of a series in which you've got to play a cop, so, and it's a central role and it needs, you need to be, so I said, great. So I said, how much time do I have? And the cop has a certain attributes. So I said, give me about a month and a half so I can prepare myself to come for it. And he said, you mad? Who does that sort of a thing? I said, no, I do. That's just who I am. My individual preparation is completely so my pursuit of excellence of whatever meters are of how I want to be are completely my own. So that passion that I had 20 years back burns with the same fire that it does today. So I define that space. So of course there was a great amount of passion to do what I had set out to do. like I said, a journey of 1,000 miles begin with the first step. I wanted to take that first step because that passion was not something that would let me sleep at night. It would keep me, awake and wanting to get things. So yes, that matters.
Yeah, right.
So it's and you.
So do you believe in talent?
Of course I do. Your passion will only take you that much. After that, if you want to have a consistent journey, you'd have to have the talent to it. And talent is something that either you're born with or you can hone it with hard work. I do not believe that there is nothing which is impossible, including rocket science.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just that your efforts has to commensurate with your ambition. That's it. That for me is the road forward.
Let it go, let my body go.